Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good afternoon and welcome to Tech Bro Wino. I'm Michael, your Bougie Black Brother, and our series of just tech updates that I like to just throw out there so we'll be able to know what's going on, and especially since you know that I'm a Mac guy. And I have a special guest with me, Alicia.
Hello.
So, we just saw yesterday the Apple September event. And my wife and I always sit down and we try to either see it live or we wait and don't look at anything until we have our own opinion. And since Alicia is our Apple advocate, I really wanted her to kind of give me her quick overview. And we're going to discuss what we saw yesterday and what Apple did present. So, Alicia, what was your thoughts of the September event that Apple presented?
Well, they kind of made it seemed like it was kind of a little short and sweet compared to the other ones. They're usually a lot longer.
Okay.
This wasn't as long as I expected. I thought it would be a little longer. But they did go right into showing the new phones. That's one thing. The phones and the watch. I love the watch. That I could say. That's probably, what is it? The fourth series?
Yeah, the Series 4.
Series 4.
So what did you like about it?
The wider screen and...
Yeah, so there's two versions. There's the regular one that we have.
Right.
And then they just came out with a bigger version.
Yes.
I think it's 44 millimeter.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So you like the size of it?
Yeah, that and the fact that the one thing we don't know is that with the software update, which watches will it be a part? Will it do all the watches, or will it be doing just Series 3 and 4?
Okay.
So that's one thing that I was really curious about, but was really need to do a little bit more research to find out if it is available for our watch. But then again, it's more waterproof too.
Yeah, they said it's more waterproof. Before it was waterproof, remember they showed it. They was in the water. She was surfing in the water, and she had a phone call while she was there. But this time, it's a little more. They show a little more.
Yeah, they showed them swimming, actually a little bit more deep swimming. And I thought that was like, okay, that's really cool. Also, with the software update to monitor your heart.
Yeah, there's a real-time ECG. ECG, because the little, what is it? The little crown on the side?
Yes.
Actually now does a lot of different things. So as it does different things, it was kind of interesting that they incorporated that into what the watch can do now. So
Right.
I was like,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like the different displays they have, the new displays they have on there. Again, I just don't know. They didn't say if it was for all the watches.
So they was kind of vague on that.
Yeah.
So what I saw with the watches, because I really liked it too. I did like it. I'm not sure if a bigger watch was a big difference for me, because if the software is updatable, I don't need another watch. They're trying to push the watch that has the what is it? The 4K that you can call on, that you have your own phone line on. So that's the newest watches. You're able to get that. So they're kind of pushing that because the functionality and different stuff is there. But what made it interesting was, to me, the faces and the complications. So the complications is all these little surrounding things that you can put on there to other than the face of the watch. And they added like new complications, which I thought was like really, really cool. And I think that's what Alicia was saying. Is that an update for us, or if those updates are only set up to be on the new watches? You know what I mean? And so
And that's the only thing I would really need to find out. But overall, I love the watch, and
yeah.
I love that the thing is the OS 5 for the watch. That's the only thing I need to know. Is it going to be compared? You know, because we still got one Series One.
Yeah, and it's doing exactly what I need. It doesn't do much more. The sad thing is I'm not doing any athletic stuff that I really need to get a new watch for because the updates was able to continue to let me use what I need to do. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, but they also said it was much more accurate in your everyday activity. So if you're walking or running, and you don't do it a lot, but if you're walking around, you know, the park or around the house, because the I think that the OS that we have for the watch is not as accurate for Series One.
So it's accurate because the update is for the watch, so it's a software thing. So the software has been updated. It's just the speed of it is different because the newer watches has a new chip in them that makes it faster. I'm not sure if there was any other thing that made it different. And here's the thing. This is I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but the watch isn't really changing. It's the software that's changing, and the shell and everything is just cool.
Well, you want a round watch. If you say
Yeah, I do
that's
want to
and that's where you know that needs to be said because it is getting the face is getting bigger.
No, it just got bigger though.
Right. Yeah. Well, the face just got bigger, but still, with that, it's doing a lot more.
But the other version, so they have two versions. They got the 40 and the 44. The 40 does the same thing. It's just the bigger watch has a lot more real estate to put stuff on. But the new Series 4 that's not as big, hey, it's the same thing. So it's a software update. So if you're looking at the watch that you have, the new difference is it comes in gold, it comes in space gray, it comes in I think it's another third one as well, polished silver and space black. Pardon me. So nothing other than great faces and complications. So I like the faces and the complications based on the upgraded software. So if I can't get the software on my Series 1, I may think about, hey, I may have to get the Series 4 because it does a lot of things. It has like heart monitoring. So the ECG, you know, for those that don't know, electrocardiograms, that checks your heart rate variability, stress, fatigue, heart age, your breathing, and your mood. So it's gonna take that, and you put your finger on the crown, and it starts, you know, measuring it from that. So that's another incorporation that they did to the watch that all the other watches don't do. So the watch is turning to a serious health monitor. So if that's what people are going to, this watch is Apple is doing a big thing trying to get through that. They had who's it, American Heart Society president, the black dude that came up there. He talked about how great this watch is going to do, so you can get your data to your doctors. And they did one thing, and I got to see it over because in between I think I was doing something and I missed that. But it showed charts on your iPad. So it was relating to your history that you can actually send to your doctor that's monitoring your heart care and things from that. So it's really getting into a heart monitoring system that you can actually keep up with your health. So I thought that was good. But you said you liked just the overall watch because you like what it was bigger and the faces and the complications of
Yeah,
what it can do.
yeah, I really like it. And also the heart monitoring one too. I think that's something new, and I see that since they're doing that, I think again there's much more to it than that. They show just your basic information, but I would love to see what else it does. What other information the new o, OS for the watch can do.
Yeah, so it flew through some things, but it was missing some things too. So overall, I think the watch presentation was good. Didn't blow me away. It wasn't something that would like make you run out and get it. If you have a need, or if you really trying to do some things with your health, this watch is perfect. Hey, get it. It's going to give you exactly what you need with a new look and different styles. Especially, they got some better looking bands. They got some matching bands to the colors of the watches.
Yes, they do.
So they made some things pretty cool. It's just hard for me to change a watch out with the same looking watch. It's just kind of weird, especially when I can change the same face with both watches. So there was not really too much of a standout for me. So overall, the presentation of the watch I say was good. I give it a 7.5 for that presentation, because I don't think it was like when the watch came out. Even when it came out last time, I was so happy to see that you can make calls on it without your phone. Boom, great breakthrough, even though Samsung had it. I was glad that you can use it under the water. Finally, thank God. These are some things that I need. So all of this was really great. But this one was just some upgrades. So I just saw the Apple Watch Series 4 as good updates. So that's why I just said good updates.
So I just found out, I'm reading this article, and it said the new software, which should hit around the same time the iOS 12, likely in September, alongside rumors redesigning Apple Watch Series 4 models, will be available as a free upgrade to the Apple Watch 2017, Apple Watch 20 Series 2, and Apple Watch Series 1 owners of the 2015 original Apple Watch are out of luck.
So we don't get the update.
We don't get the update.
So that tells you something there. So, until I really, really need it, I don't think I'm getting it. I think I wouldn't get a 2. I wouldn't get a 3. If I was going to get I might as well get the newest one.
Yeah.
And then wait all the way back.
Yeah,
But,
I would definitely get the newest one. I mean, I really would get it. It will probably be next year when I get it, if I want to get it, but I would definitely get it. It with the new software updates, it's going to be really cool to have it.
Yeah, so it looks a lot more interactive, put it that way.
Because they got the walkie-talkie on there.
And then they changed the breathing thing.
Yes, they sure
So
did.
the
graphics.
the graphics.
They
on
said
there
it's
is really
more.
cool.
It is kind of memorizing. You know what I'm.
Mesmerizing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really cool how they
So
did
that was really great. So the software, the software for this watch is fantastic. So that means it makes this watch different. So now you're really getting a different watch because you can't use the software. So it's 2, 3, and now 4. So we're out of luck, but I'm not that much out of luck because I really don't want it. Like, I don't really need it. It's not a need. It's almost a want. But as Alicia and I be monitoring our health going forward, this is something that, when we speak to our doctors, we getting the data. And then we can kind of confirm and monitor our health as our doctor can at the same time too. So I think that's a plus. But I just say good. Good update. Not really disappointed that it's not on 1 because based on what you're saying, Alicia, we're 3 levels down.
Yes,
it's
we are.
Usually they drop off.
Right.
It's
right.
usually a drop off.
Right.
So I get that. I love my watch. It does exactly what I need for all of the alerts and everything that I have for my phone. It's just now they making it more so as a standalone device.
Yeah, they're making it more interactive. So a lot of things they were I like is when the whole list of exercise you're doing. They had the updates show a little bit more in there that they are offering. So that's another thing that's cool. Again, the health thing I think is awesome when checking your heart rate or anything else that could relate to it, because that's important as well too. And then create and seeing the graph, knowing that you see your health records.
So this is kind of odd. This year, that we jump into the phones. So usually, I think we get the Apple TV. We get the watch, and then I think we get maybe an update with the iPad, and then the phones is the last thing. But it took a long time to get. I mean, it took a good enough time with the watch, but it took a lot longer with details for the phone. Did you notice that? Mm-hmm. So they went into the green and how everything is recyclable. So they had their little section, and then they had a couple of things on AR and the type of games. Because remember, I whispered to you, I was like, they always having a lot of goddamn games.
Yeah, they had about 3 or 4 games on there.
About 3 different
But one of
games.
them, out of all of them, there was only one cool one.
So for us, as opposed to anyone else, a lot of people are playing all of those fantasy games and everything like that.
Yeah,
but the one was the 3-player augmented reality Gallagher game.
Yes. That was cool.
Was awesome.
That was cool as hell.
So that was on the phone though, right?
Yes, that was on the phone.
Let's jump into the phone.
Okay, so there's 3 different versions.
But they introduced 2
first. The first 2.
So it was the XS and then the XS Max. So the XS Max is really the size of which one we have? The 8?
Yeah, it was the 8.
Yeah, the 8S. That's the largest
right,
one.
That was the 8, yeah.
So it's as big as that screen size.
Oh, no, it's the 7.
Size.
It was the 7. We don't
have the 7, we have the 8.
No. We have the 8 now, but the biggest one was the 7. We skipped the 8.
We skipped the 8?
Yes.
I thought it was a 9.
No. We had the 7. We didn't get the 8 because the 8 and the 10 came out at the same time.
The 8 and the 10? So we had this. Then maybe it's the. Mm-hmm. Is it the 6S? Because I think we skipped the 7. We did skip the 8 because we got the 10, but there was one right before that.
Yeah, well,
so we skipped the 7, so we got the 6S.
Yeah, we got the 6.
There's too many numbers.
Yes, it was. I was like, we didn't get the 8.
So it's the 6S.
Yeah.
So since we got the 6S, which is huge, and that's the one we got used to. So when we got the X, we was kind of like, damn, this feels small.
Right, it was disappointing.
It really feels small.
Yes, it was.
So the XS is small, but
it's the same size as what we got right now, which is the X.
But the screen is still bigger than the 6S. The screen
right. It is.
But the XS Max has the size of the 6S.
Yes.
But it's screened from top to bottom.
Right.
So that's the one I was been looking for, because I got so used to holding the bigger one and looking at a full screen of things. So they actually did the 2. And I'll just jump in. The price of the XS is $9.99. And that's starting at 64 gigs.
Yeah, 64 gigs, 256 and 512.
And then the XS Max is
$1,099.
Yeah, $1,000, so $100 more.
Right.
But that's the smallest.
That's the 64 gig.
64 gig.
You got 256 and 512
yeah,
gigs.
So freaking huge.
The screen on the XS is 5.6 inch. The screen on the XS Max is 6.5. It has a dual 12 MP wide angle telephoto camera. Both of them do, the XS and the XX Max.
So, except for getting into all of that, that's what they spent the time doing. They spent a lot of times with the level of details, with the camera, the new Bionic A12 chip, that which is best in the world. They showed a lot dealing with the photography,
The water
the
resistance.
water resistance, how the graphics on this phone does well for the games, and then the games came out, but nothing software wise. So here's the problem that most people have. They talked about the software, the previous keynote. So all the software updates ain't even ready yet until now. But they didn't never re-mention them and say, remember, these are all your updates. But understand, this was just talking about the new hardware. So it's kind of sometimes disappointing to say, okay, show me the new hardware with the new software updates for iOS 12, which they really didn't do that. So it looked weird because you didn't know what was new
Yeah,
with the
that's why
software.
it was shorter.
Yeah, because they didn't go through all of that, and they didn't. And then at the end, he said, "I'm gonna jump to that. Oh, we got some updates for the iHome. What is it? The iPod? Not the iPod. The speaker. What's the name of the speaker?
I don't remember.
Well, we got it in our wine room.
Oh, you talking
Anyway,
about
the HomePod.
HomePod,
Sorry,
yeah,
I know
sorry.
what it is. So the HomePod. So they had a lot of updates with that. They said you'll be seeing that soon. See you later. Oh, by the way, we also have some updates with the Sony sound for your Apple TV. Oh, that's all I got. See you later. And that was it. They usually take the time to kind of show you what it can do and give you some examples, but they didn't do that with this one. They just spent the time on the watch and the phone.
Hardware.
Yeah.
It was mostly dealing with the hardware.
But just 2 sets of hardware and 3 sets of phones. So Leisha mentioned the the 10R? What is it? The XR?
Yeah, the XR.
So the iPhone XR. So
Yeah, the XR, and
I
that one
thought
is
it was gonna
$749.
be- Yeah, so I thought that was going to be a smaller phone, but it's actually the same size as the regular X. And I was like, oh, I guess they was right. They got rid of the regular X, and now they have only these 3 versions because they laid out all of the phones that they had available, and the X, the simple X, does not exist. It jumps directly into the XR, the XS, and then the XS Max. So the phone that we have now ceased to exist, which is like crazy as fuck. So kind of tells us that we kind of have to get rid of it because there either is going to be valuable because it's only one left, or it's not going to be valuable because nobody going to want it because they have the 3 new versions.
Right. So, all we have to do is just trade that in for a new phone.
So, and see what goes from that. So what they did was they decided to have a smaller phone with a different camera, but the camera has the similar capabilities as the XS and the XS Max,
Except for the
but it's a
fact,
single camera.
right, it doesn't have the telephotic.
And then they turn around and it has different colors. So this one is the little jazzy ones that you can get for whoever, because the price point is $749. It's starting there. So this is the least of the new phones.
They call it a budget-friendly
Yeah, the
version.
budget-friendly
version.
Yeah, it doesn't have the 3D haptic touch. It just has a slight haptic touch too. So they pull that technology out of that as well. So they pull that out to keep the cost down. So what they did is they pulled a lot of stuff out just to be able to say, you know what, let's try to at least get them a low-cost phone, because some people are looking at the price points of these 2 other phones and say, look, I just can't afford to keep buying these $1,000
Yeah, they're
phones.
saying, that's what they're saying, but how they have a package, you just trade it in now and get a new phone.
But you can do that, and this is one of the reasons why I think they went to the green version of their actual phones, that they said they can rip a phone apart and reuse all types of stuff.
Yeah,
so it's
that makes
easy.
sense.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, of course, bring your phone because we're going to use those parts over again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it does make sense. You can understand that that's the smartest thing they can do, except for, and they said they're not going to do the mining in Africa like they normally do, or South America, because the more phones that they recycle, the more of these equipment and stuff that they need to recreate more phones. And then they got the two robots that actually rips it apart for them. So they don't even have people doing it. They have these robot arms that disconnects and disassemble all of these phones. So they have that. So now you can send it down a conveyor and these robot hands just rip it apart, throw it back into a bundle. So when it's time to rebuild them, they have all the recyclable supplies back into the new phones, which is really, really interesting. That's really smart. But it's the three phones. So interesting, the three phones and just the watch. The presentation to me seemed pretty boring. It wasn't groundbreaking. It didn't make you excited other than small little things that kind of be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was excited because it was a big phone. But everyone knew that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. That was a given. I like the games with the virtual reality that more than one person can play it.
Yeah, I like that. That was cool.
That was cool as hell. And then it was an older game, Gallagher, but it didn't look like Gallagher. It looked like Gallagher outside, and it was just floating around. So it was just pretty amazing. The watch was just software on the watch was fantastic.
Yeah, the software is really nice,
undeniable. But again, if it was just about the hardware, thank you. Thanks for letting me know about the hardware, but I really didn't care about that.
Yes. So,
but overall, I mean, it was a simple presentation.
Yes, they, like you said, with this, they got the iOS 12 available. That's going to be updated for next week.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Next week.
But they didn't say what was in it, so I'm waiting.
But all you have to do is look at the keynote back in, when was it?
June? June. You mean
that's what
WWDC?
Yeah,
Dub.
The WWDC.
Yeah, and they probably would definitely talk about it. Yeah.
So if you really want to see it, that's where you can see it.
So what's happening is they're not repeating themselves
right
with the software when they already did it in June.
But for people like us who's not always reading and keeping up with it, we like a subtle reminder of, oh, by the way, don't forget the software update has these.
Right.
They said we don't need to do that because we're not going to waste a lot of time.
Right.
Let's just go straight to the project.
Yeah, go straight to the hardware. Let's discuss the hardware. The only thing that they discussed the software was the watch.
Right. Because,
but see, last year, I think it was last year. Yeah, last year, talking to some of the people that were working for Apple, they were working. They knew there were certain things that I have mentioned. I was like, yeah, you'll need it would be nice if you had something to help with women issues inside the app, and those things. So a lot of those things they were working on. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit more in the OS for the watch with the health, but they just show you mostly the heart one, which was very important.
Yeah, because they're partnering with the American Heart Society and a lot of. They said it was FDA approved too.
Right, it was FDA approved.
Which is like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yes, it was.
So again, is a heart monitoring product. And again, if go to your job, if they say, hey, look, for you getting healthy, if you buy these type of things to monitor your health, you get a rebate. Or in certain case, you can use your health savings account to say, my doctor wants me to keep up with my heart, my whatever. You probably can buy a damn watch now, because if it's FDA approved, then it probably going to slide into that. And I think that's where Apple wants to be, that product to say, I want it to be suggested or issued recommended. Thank you. That's a better word. Recommended, and say, you know what? This is the best product that we can get the data if you use this product.
And if the insurance company give them like $100 or $150 towards it, there would be more people most likely buying it.
Yeah, but it's the number one watch in the world. but it'll be overwhelmingly the watch to get if it becomes the standard of or the flagship of if you're going to get a heart monitoring device, you need to get one of the Apple Watches. And that's going to make another turn for Apple. So that'll be another cash cow. But other than that, I didn't really feel excited. And then I know either October, late October or November, that's when they talk about the MacBooks, the iPad, and maybe some other miscellaneous things. But they're starting to break them up. But you have expectation of saying, why are you going so long? So if they take away stuff, they putting in some more detail. So you saw that they had a lot of detail with the core processing, a couple of more videos that they wanted to show, so on and so forth.
So yes, so we probably need to go back and see the keynote for June.
Yeah, just to see
What
the
they
update software and everything.
I would like to see what because it was they said in the article for the watch there was other stuff for the watch OS that was not
That they didn't talk about.
right.
And it's probably because, to your point, the new watch has a lot of these. The one that they showed was just for all watches. But this one, you're not going to get these unless you have 2, 3, or 4.
Right.
But all watches had the previous one.
Right.
So, but I may be wrong too, because they may say, we may have showed you, but it's only going to be for 2, 3, and 4.
Yes. So
Because the hardware is probably old that they can't update it.
Yeah, so that's why we need to see what's really on the new OS for the watch, as well as for the new phones.
Absolutely. So that was kind of decent and not exciting though. I was really disappointed because I wanted to be excited, but I wasn't excited. It was almost everything that I expected, and sadly, I really didn't monitor a lot of the reviews and blogs of what was coming up. I just saw a couple, and it was exactly what we expected, other than the software complications for the watch and a bigger watch. Because they said a bigger watch. I was like, how big do you want that watch to be? But it's just big enough. It's not too big, but it's not the same size too. So you got 2 versions. So pretty good. Did you miss anything?
No.
So pretty good. We gotta wait until I think November or the next one when the next version of the iPad and that may be a facial recognition as well, because they was talking about that. And then the new MacBooks. So we'll see what the MacBooks look like. But anywho, it's Tech Bro Wino. You see us twice a month. So I try to do twice a month. Or if I get me a new device, then you'll get to see it. And you know me, I like to play with new devices that complements my home automation. But we'll be seeing something new that we put in our garage, but that's another one. But I'll mention it on our show here. That will be very, very interesting when it comes to tech. But thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on the Tech Pro Wino. See ya.
Bye.